Hey gang, what's up? How's it going? I've been really busy lately, but I wanted to get one of these kind of me talking at the camera vlogs made for you guys because I really do have a hectic March schedule, and I just wanted to get a video up so at least there's one new video each week. And the reason that I'm busy is the focus of this video. So I was an ALT, an assistant language teacher for JET for 5 years. And some people, I get a lot of PMs. Some people still think I'm a JET. I'm not a JET anymore. Feel free to ask me about JET, but I am no longer a member of the JET program. I now teach at a university. And the thing with my job, without going into too many details, is I don't have a master's degree, so I'm not a full-time professor. I'm what's considered a part-time teacher at my university, and I'm sure it's different at many different universities, but this is the way it's been set up with me. So what that means is I get to come and teach class, and I get to enjoy teaching English with the students. I also work, as I mentioned before, in the language lab, the kind of room where the students can come and get help with English, get help with their homework, get help with technical things like Skype. But what that means is my salary is conditioned on me teaching and being at school. I don't get, like JET, a nice thing about JET, JETs get a monthly salary. Every month, say on the 15th, they get the money they get, which is like, it just changed recently, but it's around 30 mon, or about 300,000 yen. Which translates to, I don't even know what anymore. It's decent. It's like 3,000. That's maybe like $3,400 a month. That's JETs. Anyway, so I make decent wage when I am working, more than I did when I was JET. I'll just say that. But there are months where I don't work. So as I mentioned in my last kind of talking at the camera video, school ends in February in most colleges in Japan, and most daigakusei, college students, get the entire month of March off, and they don't have to come back to school until the very beginning of April. So that means I don't teach. I really don't have to set foot on campus in the month of March. The downside is I don't get paid. So, without, again, going into too much detail, there's various ways you could deal with this. You could save money and then kind of have a buffer. What I've chosen to do this year, last year I went home. I think most of you know I was home when the tsunami hit on March 11th, because that day is coming up soon. But this year I decided to stay in Japan. And the reason I've been able to do that is I have some friends, and the friend is married. I don't want to give names of the school and stuff like that, but the friend is married to a Japanese woman, and they have a lovely daughter, and he wanted to go back to his home country during the month of March. And it's in New Zealand, and so it's kind of like nice weather because it's Hantai, it's opposite of the very cold weather we have here in Japan in March. And so he asked if I would come. He owns a language school in a town somewhat far away from where I live, but not too far away. Would I come and be kind of guest teacher for about 3 weeks? And I said, sure. So, as you can see from the title of this video, it's my first time to teach eikaiwa, which is kind of like English conversation, or at a language school. And so it's been a good experience for me so far. I have to admit, I'm about halfway through my time. And the downside is, like I said, it's not in my town. I have to drive, I have to commute about 70, 75 minutes by car each way every day. I think if things had worked out, there was a chance I could have stayed somewhere in locally, but I don't mind driving. I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks, and I just don't mind driving. So it hasn't been that big a deal, but I mean, obviously, after you've worked kind of 10 or 12 hours, you're tired, and to make that hour and 10-minute or so drive home can be tiring. But other than that, the upside is I've gotten to meet a whole range of students. And when I was an ALT in JET, I taught junior high school and elementary school. So the youngest students I had were probably 6 or 7 years old. And the oldest students I had were 15. I would occasionally go to like a summer camp for English for high school students, so I'd get that kind of high school age. Every now and then I'd be asked, maybe during a holiday, to be Santa at a preschool or to do like a preschool or kindergarten event occasionally. So occasionally I got the younger kids. But for the most part I was in that bracket. And I never taught adults. Some jets will be asked to do kind of a weekly conversation class as kind of a community volunteer thing. There's all kinds of ways you can get involved with that if that interests you. It just never really happened for me. So this is the first time I've ever taught adults. This is the first time I've ever taught children under the age of, say, 6 or 7. And it's very interesting to have a whole mix. Like today I had, like 3 classes. And so I started out with first graders in elementary school, so like they're literally like 7 years old. Then I had 2 very nice ladies, probably my age or older. And then I just finished off with some high school kids, which I never got to teach as a jet, who are, 16. And, sometimes it's just boys, sometimes it's just girls. Often it's a mix, which is kind of nice. And they're very small. The most students I've had in a class so far is about 6. And, I've had the occasional one where just 1 student shows up. That's tough. Tailoring your lessons, especially if you plan group activities or games or partner things, and then only 1 student shows up. That can be difficult. But it's kind of opened my eyes. A lot of people ask me about, like, if I don't get into jet, what can I do? And, I've always said, well, there's Interact, which is kind of like Jet Light. It's not as good as Jet. I think most people will agree to that, just in the sense of, the benefits and everything that comes with being a jet. But you get to teach in the same types of schools, in public elementary schools, public, junior highs. And then there are companies, like the defunct Nova, there's Aeon, and these types of, there's a lot of private language schools in Japan. And oftentimes they'll be, like Victor, Give Me a Flake Man. He owns a language school in Nagoya. Oftentimes it will be a gaikokujin married to a Japanese person, and together they open a school. And that becomes the job of the gaikokujin. Usually it's a guy, but sometimes it can be a female that marries a Japanese guy. Anyway, so there's a lot of opportunity to do this type of teaching. And before I just didn't really I wasn't able to comment on it. Now I feel like I can see why people really enjoy it. It's really fun. It can be exhausting. Some days I leave my house at like 8:30 in the morning. Drive, like I said, that hour or so, start having classes. There's breaks in between. You have lunch, of course, blah, blah, blah. And then I get home at like 10:30 at night. So it's like I've been out of my house. My work day, for lack of a better word, has been like 14 hours or something. So it can be a long day. But so far it's been really fun. And it's kind of funny because I've come and I'm just going to do it for 3 weeks. So it's like the greatest hits of Jason. I'm thinking of all these things I used to do when I was in ALT. Oh, we can play the magnet game, and we can do grab the SpongeBob game, and we can, and I'm thinking of all these cool things. And if I had to teach a 4th or a 5th week, I would start to be, oh man, now I got to think up something new. So it's like they're getting the best of Jason. Like I'm just thinking of all these games I can do, and I've got stickers, and blah, blah. It's been really fun. And it's been a great opportunity to learn, but especially the adult classes I think are the ones that I'm enjoying the most. Today, this week with my adults, I've been talking about Japanese traditions versus American traditions, and I'm finding out all this funny, interesting stuff. And I asked the adult students to come in and bring pictures to share with me about them, because I kind of did my Jiko Shokai, so you'll always be doing that Jiko Shokai. And it's been great. So I just wanted to say, if you're thinking about doing eikaiwa, I think I would recommend it. Although like I said, if I had to do it long term, it's a lot of work too. It's lesson planning and tailoring your thing to your students, your lessons and ideas. Okay, I want this to finish in 10 minutes, so it'll upload to YouTube. Thanks for watching as always. Like I said, I'm super busy. Sumo's going to start, but the end of March I'll be back on a more regular basis. 9:53. Thanks for watching. Peace. Bye.